Hello, hello, hello to everyone here at the Gnostic Takeover. Thank you for tuning in here today. Just going to have to check if the audio is on. And I don't have an answer to that. Hopefully the audio is on. Just going to check it. Right. Hello and welcome here at the Gnostic Takeover. Hello and welcome everyone here at the Gnostic Takeover. I'm just going to have to check if the audio is working. Hello to everyone to this exclusive live stream. And I can hear my voice. Beautiful. Thank you for tuning in here today for this special live stream. And I'm your host. Welcome everyone here at the Gnostic Takeover. Hope everyone is doing good. It is, as they say, the best of times and the worst of times at the same time, and it depends where we tune our perception toward. And the Gnostic Takeover is rooted in to not stay stuck in crisis mode, but maneuver ourselves out of it and see the great opportunity that arises. So today I've got a very special presentation planned for you, and this is an introduction video. I could have called this part 1 of 3 parts of the Magnum Opus 2. The first Magnum Opus aired on the 30th of April, and you can go back and watch this because this is a special series that I do every 3 months. So there's only going to be like 4 or 5 Magnum Opus a year. And this is why I drop all the information. And these are 3 to 4 hour presentations. And today is the introduction. It's an introduction to the themes that I will be covering in the Magnum Opus 2. And already I could have called this part 1. I don't know how long it's going to take. It's going to take how long it needs to take to present the basic informations that I will be covering in the Magnum Opus 2. This is the introduction video. I'm glad everyone is tuned in here. I'm feeling good today. I've spent many hours preparing the slides here, especially for the Magnum Opus 2. And I'm happy, really happy to present all of this to you. And this is the platform, as I like to say, the platform for the forces of ultimate power, the intelligence of the plant kingdom, to get to speak. So it speaks through us. We're the ones who bring this intelligence forward into the world, and this is the real revolution. It's a revolution of intelligence, which is the evolution of consciousness here on this planet. So I'm going to start with the presentation now. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I wish you all a great journey and a great ride along this information trail that is dedicated towards the great awakening of our spirit, rooted in truth and freedom. Thank you everyone. And I wish to dedicate this presentation to the wonderful girl that you can see here. Some may know her, some may not. However, this is who I dedicate this presentation to Leonie Maria Stadler, and I hope I can keep myself in balance with the emotions, because it is a very emotional issue. This is the beautiful girl of Lysandra Stadler, Liz, who is a very, very powerful woman, let me tell you. A great mother, and she stands for the spirit of the earth and for the spirit of all mamas here on earth, which is greatly needed in these times of difficulty and challenges, that we have the spirit of the mothers with us, activated. And Leonie Maria Stadler was taken from her mother in brutal fashion. In February of this year, on the 28th of February, agents informed by the spirit of evil that has conducted its affairs on our mother planet for way too long, agents who were camouflaging themselves as having the right in the name of the state and in the name of the rule of law to trespass on our property, our home, and kidnap Leonie Maria Stadler, and we have all the evidence for it. I videotaped the entire scene of what happened, and it is those agents of the state who trespassed on our property, and we have all the evidence for a case of child trafficking and human trafficking. And we're moving forward ahead in our dedication to the one and only truth, to the will of all creation, which is freedom. And we're moving forward in holding those men and women accountable for their actions, which is what eliminates the spirit of evil, is by holding it accountable. We're holding those men and women who were at the scene and who gave the order, a man who at times acts as judge. We're going to hold them liable for the violence that they caused on us, and this is what it truly means to be sovereign. So this is what we have had to go through along our journey, and it has only served us toward greater understanding, rooting ourselves deeper in the one and only truth. And that's why this is something that has happened to us. However, we do not stay stuck in victimhood. We are no one's victim. We are not victims of the workings of the spirit of evil. We are no victims. We are powerful creator beings. We create reality. And me, together with Liz, we are creating the reality outcome where Leonie Maria Stadler is free once again. The beautiful girl, a 6-year-old child who deserves to be with her mama. And this has only served as a learning lesson to me and Liz to truly take the calling of Mother Earth, because there's only so far you can go with intellectual knowledge. You have to put it into action, and that is wisdom, and it's wisdom that is the highest of all intelligence. So that being said, Again, this presentation is dedicated to the beautiful child of Lisandre Stadler, that is Leonie Maria Stadler. And thank you for everyone who can see what has occurred in our life, and who understands the importance of rising above the circumstances, not being victims of the spirit of evil, but rising up in true sovereignty and showing who's the boss here on earth. It is mankind and those who are informed by Mother Earth, Mother Nature. And those are the ones who are going to lead us out of this crisis into the great opportunity for awakening to occur. So in that spirit, I want to remind everyone that here right now, listening to this live stream, and this is going to be one of the major themes in the Magnum Opus 2, you are entering into ceremony with Ayahuasca and Datura, the forces of ultimate power, as I like to call them, the intelligence that informs the plant kingdom intelligence that is creating the kings and queens here on our earth, on our planet. It is natural intelligence, as in the spirit of the Magnum Opus. Ayahuasca and Datura is the medium that is dedicated to connect us with our innate, meaning inborn, natural intelligence. And it is this natural intelligence that breaks the curse of artificial intelligence. I could just as well say that natural intelligence breaks the curse of evil. However, I will be going much deeper into the correlating factors that connect evil and the spirit of evil that I like to term Wetiko, inspired by the great work of Paul Levy. The spirit of evil being the spirit of Wetiko, that has everything to do with the technocracy that they're trying to implement, and the merging with artificial intelligence, which is never going to happen. You know why? Because I say so. I say this in the spirit of Ayahuasca and Datura. Know that you are the force of power, inspired by the forces of ultimate power. And I want to remind everyone that being in ceremony is not always to your comfort. There's information contained here in the introductory video, as well as in the Magnum Opus 2, that can be very challenging. However, I can only say that I say everything that I say in the will of aligning with the one and only truth, and to root myself in that truth. And truth has a resonance. And it's better to experience discomfort while hearing truth and being confronted with uncomfortable lies that we've told ourselves, or that we have been told by other sources of information. But there is a time when we need to align with the truth. This is why I would strongly say we are here in this lifetime. And it's an art to find out the truth, because it's not to be found in the entertainment industry that many of the alternative media voices have become. Truth has nothing to do with entertainment. And it is the truth, and only the truth, that will lead us to freedom, which is the only aim that the Gnostic Takeover has. There is no agenda here at the Gnostic Takeover. only giving a platform for the forces of ultimate power, Ayahuasca and Datura, to speak to mankind, to our human family, so we take back the planet, because it's ours to begin with. So, when there is a network for artificial intelligence that is being implemented through the frequency spectrum of 5G, 6G, they're talking about 7G also. When there's a network for artificial intelligence that often is also termed as the smart grid, the grid that should be the medium for artificial intelligence to work through, the smart grid, to connect all the smart devices. That's why we have smart watches, smartphones, and smart pills, and whatever smart they're going to come up with next. However, when there's a network for artificial intelligence, you can bet your everything that it is a copy of natural intelligence. Well, I'm here to remind everyone that all of technology is an application of science, true science, the science of natural law, as Mark Passio terms it in his documentary. And he's absolutely right, credit where credit is due, that natural law is a science, and all of technology like 5G, 6G, 7G, the smart grid and all the smart devices, they originate from science, from scientific principles. We've got the mathematics and the electronics in there and all of that, but we don't have to complicate things. It is only a fact that all of technology, which is being used for malevolent purposes against humanity, not for the benefit of humanity, it's being used against humanity for the purpose of total control, or as the enemies of life like to call it, full spectrum dominance. And it is the spectrum of 5G technology that they envision in their wildest dreams is going to create their brave new world of total control. And that technology always comes from science, but there is a higher science here. All this artificial intelligence technology is nothing but a copy of natural intelligence and how nature works, the natural order and the principles that it is governed by. And there's only so far they can take it for the total control of humanity until natural intelligence is activated again in all the minds and hearts of everyone listening here, and all the minds and hearts here on earth will put a stop to all of this control and imposition, telling people here on earth what to do. It's not acceptable anymore. And natural intelligence, we can see this in the root formation of trees, the wood wide web that is far superior to any network of internet that they can come up with. And that is going to be shown to be so. The question we need to ask is, what is the information source of our perception. Where do we get the information that we know? What is the source of it? Does it come from nature and natural intelligence and put into the right context, okay, and not being lost in the trees instead of seeing the full scope of the forest? We need to, and I'm putting this forward, we need to awaken the big picture again. This is natural intelligence and seeing the big picture and have the right context to everything that is happening here on earth. And there is a difference between having the source of our information that informs our perception. There is a difference if we're informed by natural intelligence or by artificial intelligence on the internet, because there's many things we can say on the internet and many things that would also seem like it's the truth. However, as I'm going to be speaking about, it's an art finding out the truth, and we need to have the right attitude in always going deeper into our investigation of the truth. So we really have to be honest here, and honesty is the basis for true awakening and not falling into the trap of a false awakening. And that is where we need to ask ourselves the question, what is the information source of our perception? And that's where, and this is going to be a major theme in the upcoming Magnum Opus 2, that's where we are going to make the quantum leap. Because natural intelligence is a different information system to artificial intelligence. Natural intelligence has a different source to artificial intelligence. And this is where the key component of Gnostic intel comes in, which is discernment. We need to discern between what is artificial and what is natural, what is real, what is reality, and ask the basic fundamental questions again. And that's where we take the quantum leap in consciousness and not stay stuck on a level of consciousness where we are still under control. I want to remind everyone listening to this here that the agenda is not Bill Gates. It is not the pharmaceutical cartel. The agenda is not those elite bloodline families that wish to have total control over the world. There is a deeper picture, there is a deeper story to be told about what the real agenda is, and to put it into as simple form as I can is that the real agenda is not the UN Agenda 2030. It goes much deeper than that. The real agenda is perception control. It is the control of your perception, and it ain't just happening in the mainstream media. It's happening each and every single day in sources of information where we would not dare to even question if there is perception control happening there. However, in order to get to the bottom of things, we really need to look at what's really happening here. And I have made this experience myself. I can speak from wisdom, where my perception bubble bursted with the people that I was following, the people that used to be my mentors, people that I mention often here in the videos, but I won't mention them right now. And only when a bubble bursts do you realize that you were in a bubble. So all I'm saying here and putting forward is I'm not telling you who you should follow. I learned a lot from my former mentors. I learned a whole lot and I'm very thankful for it, and I respectfully say no now. I'm not buying the new books of them. I'm not gonna watch their newest videos, because I got the message, which was when plant medicine asked me the question, okay, what is the information source of your perception? And if it's not your perceptions that originate from your understanding of the world, and you're just copying an understanding of the world from someone else, then it's not your perception. Plant medicine wants our understanding of the truth to come forward and not keep following leaders. I'm also not your leader. I'm here to tell you what true education is all about. Education, when it is broken down etymologically, comes from the Latin word ex, which means out of, and ducation comes from ducere, which is to lead. And true education is, when we put it together, to lead out of. Lead out of what? Lead ourselves and come out of being led by other people and how other people view the world. The key question is, how do you view the world? What's your understanding of truth in this moment right now? And give a voice to it, because the more you give a voice to it, the more you express your unique perception of the world and of the truth, the more truth will flow to you. So the simplest terms that I can put in when I say what the agenda is perception control. The true agenda is not so much UN Agenda 2030. The agenda is not so much the complete dominance and control of an elite bloodline families, but the agenda is all about perception control. And the bubble of perception control is deeper than you think. And there is a reason why I had this slide in the beginning. Okay, that you here listening, you are entering ceremony with ayahuasca and datura. You can question everything that I say here. Absolutely, that's how we move forward. Put it in the comment section below. I'm open to further evolve in understanding and growth, because that will lead me to the truth. It's a journey. It's not something you just arrive at through listening to other people. It's a journey. And we're engaged in ceremony here, and there's a reason why I have a bond with the plant medicine, the intelligence of the plant kingdom, natural intelligence, which is ayahuasca and datura. It is because I had to drink 11 times. I engaged directly in ceremony, drinking the brew, and the last 4 ceremonies we added datura to the brew of ayahuasca. And it was only through strengthening my bond with ayahuasca and datura that I could pierce through the veil. To pierce through the veil that has been pulled over my eyes to blind me from the truth. And there's not only agents of the control system in the form of Bill Gates or Elon Musk, but they take many shapes and forms. And the most effective of them are the ones you do not discover. The bubble of perception control is really goes deep, and all I'm doing here in the videos that I do is I put forward the information. You are happily invited to consider them. However, don't just trust me, otherwise I would be a bubble maker myself, put you into a bubble and tell me, oh, you need to believe what I say. No. True education is to act and to act in right livelihood, to teach and bring forward information that is important and necessary to consider, and then have everyone make up their own minds. When all it is about is that we keep questioning and ask the basic questions. What is the true nature of reality? And as I said, it needed a connection with the plant medicine for me, which is why I talk so much about it, to pierce through higher levels of the game of the control structure. I hadn't seen it before, however I see it now, because as I said, you only realize that you were in a bubble when the bubble bursts. And truth, we need to realize, is hidden in the deep waters. I've been on this journey for 13 years now. 13 years of hard work and really trying to get to the bottom of this. What's really going on in this world here? 13 years. And after 12 years, I had to realize I was in a bubble. And you know what I said? Great! Because it's a journey of truth discovery. I had to find my humbleness once again. And realize that things that may be true are not necessarily the truth. The message of the forces of ultimate power is, when you want truth, well, keep digging. Keep going along your journey. Otherwise, you'll stay stuck in one of those bubbles. And there's many bubbles of them. There's bubbles for everyone. Oh, you're into cryptocurrency. There's a bubble for you. Oh, you're into medicine and natural healing, homeopathic healing. Well, there's a bubble for you. Or you're into history and how the conspiracy evolved. There's a bubble for you. You need to dive deep. And it is no accident that water represents emotion, represents feelings. And it's a combination, it's an equilibrium that needs to be struck between intellectual information and emotional intelligence. Because intelligence actually has those two parts integrated in it. When you look into it, into the etymology, it has the intellect and it has the emotional component also, and that needs to be in equilibrium, in balance, and that is where we get to the truth. And we only get into the deep waters of the truth when we do the emotional healing work, what is often termed shadow work. And what I say is that in all of the alternative media sources that I have looked into, that I have studied, that I have had as my mentors, from 13 years of learning now, what I can share with you is that there is a strict compartmentalization on specific type of knowledge. They'll have you focusing on all the details when it comes to virology, for example, in what we've been engaged in since the Covidian cult came forward and went into a new stage of their drive for total control on our planet, on our mother planet. They'll talk about all different sorts of details very specifically, and those may all be true. However, where the real juice is, okay, where we really move forward, where we are really making a difference, is when we find out about the true esoteric information. This is the key knowledge. This is the most hidden information on the planet. This is all about the knowledge of natural law, the knowledge about the natural order and how it actually works, what the real natural order truly is. This is esoteric information, and all of the elite circles, so-called elite, I call them the kakistocracy. However, it has a whole different structure to what we believe in. This is where I go into the vampire empire, and how there's many people in this satanic cult who would never believe are in that satanic cult. It's more widespread than we can imagine here on this planet. That's all I'm going to say for now. However, what they all have in common is they teach their children in the families that are involved with the Archon Vampire Empire that I talk about. They study this esoteric information, which is all about witchcraft and how the manipulation of reality works. They use it for the dark sciences, the dark occult practices. That's what they use it for. And it's more widespread than you can imagine. They have a whole tapestry. You can fill many libraries with the books that were written by dark occultists or under the instructions of dark occultists. And they seem so informative. People like Eckhart Tolle I can mention here, for example. It seems like that's the way forward. However, there's a bigger play happening which can't be seen unless you have access to higher levels of perception. And then you can checkmate these dark occultists. Then you are really moving forward. And that's what we should be looking at to really make a difference in this world. And not just put up with the crumbs and just settle for the crumbs. No, I won't settle for the crumbs. I'm going to continue to move forward because I am aimed. And I'm aimed with the highest level of information when it comes to esoteric information, which I get directly through Ayahuasca and Datura. The natural intelligence that informs the plant kingdom. This is where I can say this is my information source of my perception that I'm putting forward here, and that I have the responsibility to put forward here. I'm not just going to keep this to myself. This is how the dark occult circles work. They compartmentalize all the information and put everyone on a need to know basis. Everyone in this control structure is on a need to know basis. What I do is what the plant medicine instructs me to do, which is to drop all of the information. And the challenging part about it is the plant medicine drops all of that information, and I then need to order that information, which is why I sometimes sit for many hours every day putting order to this information, because there's so much more that I can get into, which is why the Magnum Opus takes as long as it takes, and the introduction probably takes 1.5 hours. Just the introduction of the themes, so I can move into deeper levels, okay? As I said, deep dive into the deep waters of truth. I do this introductory video in order that I can free some space for deeper information than what I'm presenting here. Truth. There is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. This is one of the quotes of the Morpheus character in one of the Matrix movies. And the Matrix movie series is I'm gonna do a video also, probably another Magnum Opus where I have to go into that. It used to be my favorite movie. And this is what I mean about keeping an open mind. It was just 1 or 2 months ago that I watched the trilogy, and I mean, forgive me, I even watched the 4th one. And it was only 1 month ago where I watched it where I had to realize the perception control that was happening there. Used to be my favorite movie. Then I realized, they're manipulating here, they're manipulating there. Yeah, that's what I mean about keeping an open mind. So much perception control happening, and it's much deeper than you think. Yeah, and people don't like to hear this. People, as the great quote goes by Mark Twain, it's easier to fool people than to tell them they've been fooled, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm only answerable to the forces of ultimate power, to natural intelligence, and I don't give a damn if I lose followers or if I lose money. If I don't care. I know if I go with the truth, I'll make it out of the prison. I want to be free. That's my intention, is freedom, and not making my prison cell a little bit more comfortable. No. It's a big trap, and it's the trap of the intellect, of only engaging in intellectual information and informing ourselves about the world without, and this is what Morpheus means, walking the path instead of knowing the path. We need to walk the path also and live according to the truth. And this may be uncomfortable. Yeah, that's why evolution, as I like to define it, is everything where you leave the comfort zone, is where evolution truly takes place, and where the real growth of your intelligence and of your consciousness takes place, is when you continuously leave your comfort zone. Don't have to do it all the time. I take rests too. I'm not engaged every single day, 24 hours. I sleep at times. Also, I take rests, of course. Sometimes it's too much for me, but I'll get through it. And I just want to point to the trap of the intellect, okay? And one of the key mind viruses that is being put forward through many of the alternative media, which is this. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. Oh, I know exactly that it's never been isolated. It's a scam. I'm waiting for the others to wake up. This, when it runs through the bullshit checker. Okay, who's fact checking the fact checkers? What's the alternative to the alternative? What's the source of the source of information. When I run this through the bullshit checker, it's a whole lot of bullshit. This is the biggest block in the awakening community that I've discovered. I'm waiting for the others to wake up. Well, if you ask me, after 13 years of work, all I'm focusing on is my awakening. Thank you very much indeed. And then what I discover, the information that is being put to me, is what I share with you for free, with the community. So growth and evolution of intelligence takes place. I'm not waiting for anyone to wake up. And that's where you get this nonsense with, oh, things are really going to take place once it hits a critical mass. What critical mass? Is it 1% of people? When 1% of people wake up to what? To what level of the awakening should 1% called a critical mass wake up to, when there's many levels of awakening? That's the scam. The scam is talking about critical mass. And when will the others finally wake up? That is a deception of your perception. A deception of your perception. And that's keeping everyone locked in a bubble when they don't know that there's a bubble. However, I'll point it out. And I'll point it out to myself every single day also. And run it through the bullshit checker of natural intelligence. Again, as I said in the very beginning, you are in ceremony here with Ayahuasca and Datura. It's a different kind of ceremony to actually drinking the brew. Having the courage of doing that, by the way. I did it 11 times. And I had to push myself. I tell you, it's worth everything. I was scared shitless. I was about to put it into my pants of fear. And it wasn't always comfortable. Let me tell you, it was absolutely difficult at times. But I got through it. And now I have a better understanding of what the truth is. I had to realize that I was in bubbles of perception. And it's all about the journey, learning and keep learning. So, as I say, it can get uncomfortable at times here with the information that I share. However, we need to be disillusioned from the disillusionment. That's why you're being called mad in the madhouse, because you're on your best way to sanity. Okay, and I'm happy to be called the madman in the truth or alternative community. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, because again, I know the only thing that is going to make a difference is when I dive deep into the waters. And for that, as I said, emotional intelligence is needed, and we need to let ourselves be allowed to be triggered. You can call me anything under the sun as you listen to this. Oh, he's arrogant. Oh, he thinks he knows it all. Oh, he thinks he has access to the truth. And no, I'm on a truth discovery journey just like you are. Tasked with my duty as a general of the plant kingdom to share what I've come to find out. Because you know what? The Gnostic takeover is all about bringing back ancient shamanism. And when I say bringing back ancient shamanism, I'm telling you, I'm the first one to point up the bubble of perception control that is put forward as shamanism. It's catastrophic. The so-called shamans that I've met in my life, and I wouldn't even call myself a shaman. It's a complete catastrophe. I've been to ayahuasca ceremony centers. It's a complete catastrophe run by dark occultists who've not only do they have a lock stock on the esoteric information, but also they have absolutely capped this intelligence of the plant kingdom to not come forward, because it's the end of the dark occult. As I say, that's why natural intelligence breaks the circuit. It breaks the curse of evil, of artificial intelligence. It's the end. That's why everything is focused on keeping people in bubbles of perception control. It goes much deeper than you think. And I speak from my direct experience, where I was during an ayahuasca ceremony, the shaman that was leading the ceremony just started touching me. And I wake up and I'm like, why are you freaking touching me? You leave. And the other shaman, Errol Kaya, who was leading the ceremony, he was just looking on, letting it happen. When he fully knows when someone touches you during an ayahuasca datura ceremony, or during an ayahuasca ceremony, it's an information, it's an energy transfer. Complete transgression of boundaries. So I know what I'm talking about when I say there's a massive bubble of perception control when it comes to shamanism, which is why my aim, in all truth and honesty, is to bring back ancient shamanism. We need it back, because all it is how the ancients, okay, our ancient people on this earth who were genocided by agents of the dark occult throughout history. They've genocided them because of the knowledge of ancient shamanism. That's why they genocided them. And that's a whole nother topic to get into, how it actually happened. It happened through infiltration. That's all I'm going to leave it at here. As you can see, this is just an introductory video and we're already past the 50-minute mark. So much information to get into. Bringing back ancient shamanism, which is all about true education as the ancients did it, with true initiation into the knowledge of natural law and the natural order. That's initiation into esoteric information. That's what we're bringing back. That's why I'm opening up Gnostic universities. That's my vision for the future. Great libraries filled with ancient knowledge and ancient wisdom. Beautiful. That's the future I'm seeing. I'm creating it as I'm speaking, because my word is a frequency and all of reality is based on frequencies. Energy, frequency, and vibration. I'm creating that reality. I'm creating that reality by bringing back ancient shamanism. And that's all about making diagnosis with gnosis. Gnosis and knowledge instead of belief and ideology. Gnosis is the end of all belief, is the end of all ideology. There's no belief needed, no belief required when it comes to gnosis. That's why it's important to make a diagnosis. Through gnosis, we can see what the true issue is. And that's why I said diagnosis is, I wanted to write here, the problem is attitude. However, its problem and solution is still in the paradigm of the control system. We have to move beyond that. We have to transcend the old paradigm of the control system and move into a new paradigm. That's why I'm just pointing out my diagnosis what we really need to focus on is our attitude. Okay? We have to focus on our attitude. I was a public speaker for over a year all across Austria. Okay? I met many people, and it has to be more than 99% were all about this mind virus running through them. Oh, I know exactly what's going on, and I want to find out more and more intellectual information. Oh, really? Oh, this connects to that, and oh, all the intellect is engaged without the emotional intelligence. I know exactly what's going on. It's a scam. Oh, it's never been isolated, and it's not testing for the test of the, you know what? And I'm waiting for the others to wake up. When are finally the others going to wake up? Well, deep into hypnosis you are, but most people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They want to have their lens of reality, and it's the other people's fault, because that is the real paradigm of the old paradigm. The old paradigm is about being a victim, because the victim creates the next perpetrator. That's why we don't have to be that's why in our movie of reality experience we've still got perpetrators running around, don't we? We have to, and it's a constant process, moving out of the victim zone into sovereignty, true sovereignty. That's what I've been engaged in the last few months, ever since agents of the spirit of evil, enacting the will of the spirit of evil, have taken Leonie, Liz's child, by trespassing on private property, taking a little child from us for the purposes of child trafficking, human trafficking. This is what has happened, whereas they want to disguise it and camouflage it as an act of government. And they think it's totally normal to define sovereignty on the basis of violence. Or we're allowed to use violence, however, when you do it, it's a felony, it's a crime, and you end up in prison. But we're allowed to do that. That's the insanity prison. However, as I said, we are no victims of what happened. We learn and grow from what has happened to us. And that's a shift of attitude. I'm thankful for what has happened, because it has made me look at myself and the bullshit stories that I still tell myself, which is not the one I just showed you, but other bullshit stories where I subconsciously have childhood traumas in me that I'm not good enough. It's what I'm working through. I'm just sharing honestly with you here that I myself, sharing this information, I'm going through the process of healing still. We have to make a diagnosis, and the focus needs to be on our attitude. Because through a collision with evil, like we had, a collision with evil heals your attitude. It makes you switch on a new attitude towards life, which is life supportive, and I'm going to explain this. It's true awakening. Awakening is a base transformation in attitude. That's what it is. Wetiko, the spirit of evil. You don't have to heal Wetiko, as is said in the book by Paul Levy. You don't need to heal Wetiko. Wetiko, or as I would say, the collision with evil, the collision with Wetiko, is going to heal you in your attitude. And it's a base transformation. And it's beautiful. You break down crying, as I do often. Yeah? It's very uncomfortable at times for me also. However, it's transforming me. There's a light at the end of the tunnel when you're really engaged in true shamanic work, shadow integration work. It's a fundamental transformation, and it's a fundamental transformation in your attitude. This is the message of the plant medicine. Transform your attitude, and then you will transform reality. I am the law. No one tells me what the law is. No one tells me, oh, we have a right as agents of the state to trespass on private property and take a little child. You don't tell me what the law is, because I am the law. That's the change of attitude I'm talking about. I am the law. I'm enacting the law. I know what natural law is, and not only do I know the path, but I'm also walking the path. That changes the entire fabric of reality. When you don't only know the path, but you also walk the path, which is all about the Trinity and the pyramid that the man here in this picture is holding. This is how I look like when I do my commands. I hold my pyramid. That's what the pyramids were built for. It's all about the electrical and the magnetism, the electromagnetism, and how it truly works. There's so much to talk about here. I am the law. That's the attitude of sovereignty. I am the power. No one tells me that they're all powerful. No one has any power over me, because I face my fears. And when I face my fears, I realize that I'm only in fear of that what I don't know. That's why we make a diagnosis in knowing, because by knowing I'm eliminating the need for belief, the need for hope. Hope is the problem. We need to focus on that. Hope has everything to do with belief, has everything to do with religion. It's mind control. I don't do hope because I know it origins from the Pope. I am the power, I am the law, and I'm not in danger because I am the danger. As Walter White says in the great words in Breaking Bad. How can I be in danger when I am the danger? Because I know that they're setting up a network of artificial intelligence with the smart grid, with 5G weapon technology, because I am the danger. You don't set up a control system because human beings are worthless. Oh, there's nothing you can do. No, you set up a control system because we are the danger. When we wake up to ourselves, I am not in danger, I am the danger. That's the change of attitude that I'm talking about. However, the perception control goes even deeper. And this is what I'll be talking about further in the Magnum Opus Part 2. This is only the introduction. I'm just getting started here. It's a big bubble that needs to burst because the earth ain't having it anymore. She ain't having it anymore. Enough is enough. No one tells me what to do. I'm only here on this planet by invitation of Mother Earth, in the spirit of freedom. Enough is enough, where we just entertain information and, oh, I'm doing truth because I want to find out more. Well, I'm just trying to find out what's going on in the world. No, we have to go deeper. We have to go much, much deeper and know that there is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. We need to walk the path, which is all what the Trinity is about. The pyramid that he holds in his hands here is a three-dimensional representation of the triangle, which is the principle of the Trinity, which is the foundational knowledge that we only truly change reality when our will is stronger than the will of the environment. That's when we change reality, when our thoughts align with our emotions and that aligns with our actions, that we walk the talk. As we think, so we feel, and so we act. I am the law. I am natural law. I'm changing the entire fabric of reality. That's what breaks the circuit of perception control, because it is exactly this level of information where there's a strict lock, stock, and barrel control on not finding it out. However, you're finding it out here. The perception control goes even deeper than that. We need to realize that mankind is a storytelling species. That's why the ancients used to sit by the fireplace. That's why we are magnetically drawn in summers like it is now here, a beautiful summer here in Austria. We're magnetically drawn because it's in our cells. Generation after generation, the ancients, the initiates into this type of knowledge, they sat around the fireplace and share stories and learn through sharing of stories. And the enemies of life know that also. And they use it against us, which is why I keep pointing it out. That the agenda is perception control. And the question is, are we truly being given the true story? Or is there more to the story? Is there a deeper play happening here? The perception deception. One of the books of David Icke. However, how deep does the rabbit hole go? That's what we'll be talking about in the Magnum Opus. How deep does it go? Are we truly being told the right story that is being portrayed to us as being the truth? We're a storytelling species, or is there a much deeper truth? Is it a mind virus? How does it work? Is freedom all about freedom from the mind virus? The constant chatter in our minds that wants to keep us down. The foreign installation, as Carlos Castaneda named it. Is that the real problem that we have? How far does the mind virus extend? How far is its reach of broadcast? And does it have a stronghold in most of the minds in the alternative media and most of the minds of those listening to the alternative media? That is keeping people under mind control, specifically under scarcity-based mind control. Food crisis here to sell. Banking crisis here to sell. Oh, we're losing more and more and more of our wealth. The crushing of the middle class. What are you going to do about it? Are we being programmed with the story that we're being told across the broadcasts of the alternative media arena? Is it programming the minds of mankind with the wrong context to the story? Are we being given different pictures when it's about something completely different? Are we being given the wrong context to the story and our attention being put and putting us into perception control of tests when it's really a test of character into how we are going to truly change our attitude? Maybe that's what the test's all about. That would be an example of a different context when it's never been about PCR tests, but a test of character, of our attitude. And is the V, the gene therapy, is it truly about immunity? Immunity from the mind virus that is given to us by the message of the plant medicine. Does the plant medicine and the message, when we live according to the message of the plant kingdom intelligence, does it give us immunity from the spell? How deep is the perception deception? Because they're all telling us about the gene therapy and how everyone who's taken it is lost, and be glad that you ain't taken it. The gene therapy injected into you. However, is the plant medicine injecting immunity from the mind virus into us? Is that the right context? Is that what's truly happening? Why is no one talking about it? Maybe we should be talking about it, and we should be talking about it more. Programming minds with the wrong context. Just one example of it. This is one of the shows that I was in, together with the shaman, Errol Kaya. Storytelling. They know we're a storytelling species, so they told everyone about the Q and Trump and the white hats, and they're taking down the bad guys, when it's all religion. The diagnosis is that it's religion. It's another religion, the white hats, coming to save you. Yeah, because in true gnosis you would know that it's part of the victim-perpetrator-savior complex of mind control, trauma-based mind control. And if you don't change your attitude, you won't change reality. Excuse me. And the Q Trump train is just one of the ways of keeping you under lock, stock and control. It's just one of the ways. The Q Trump card. One of the stories that they shared, but how deep does the perception control go? How deep does the perception deception, how deep does the rabbit hole go? Is there another story to it? It is my strong intention to tell you that divine intervention is happening. However, not in the way that we think it is. That's the key. Divine intervention is happening, however, not in the way we think it is. And it's beautiful. It's nature coming to our rescue. That network that we need to connect to instead of connecting to that network. What's the choice going to be? Divine intervention, but it won't happen without our participation. And this is what I said in that show. When you go on Age of Truth and you listen to what I had to say on this show, all these stories that they tell you, they're all based on that the world is going to change without your participation. And I don't mean the participation in some demonstrations. No, you need to live by the truth. We bring the natural intelligence into this world. It comes in through us. We're the only ones who are going to make all the difference. Not the Rainer Fulmiks, not the David Icks, not me. I'm just doing my part of it. It's when we walk the path that the path and the gate opens up to true freedom. And while many of the alternative media sources have as a basis, they won't say it openly, however, as a basis, it's always that evil is all powerful. Oh, this is going to happen. They're doing this, they're doing that. However, higher intelligence, and after making the quantum leap and connecting to a new information source, it's a new information source, it's a new paradigm. We ask the question, who does evil answer to? That's the real question we need to ask. Why does evil even exist in the beginning, to begin with? And who does evil actually answer to? What is evil and the clown of evil? All the clowns and all the agents of the principle of evil, who do they answer to? They don't want you asking that, because that would be going beyond the boundary of their understanding. That's why all these dark occultists, they tune into this live stream here, because they find out information that they are not even aware of. And that's what breaks the circuit of their control, which is all what the Magnum Opus 2 is all about. Breaking the circuit, breaking the spell, breaking the curse of evil that is also represented by artificial intelligence. But who does evil actually answer to? The mainframe of intelligence. What is the source of evil? What is the source of all sources? This is from the movie The Matrix, the third part, where Neo enters the mainframe. And take a good look at details. What has that got to do with that? Can you see? It is in the detail. The truth is out there and you can find it out. Is natural, organic, biological intelligence, original intelligence, innate intelligence, meaning we are born with this intelligence and it needs to be activated. Is this the mainframe of intelligence, the medium of intelligence for divine intervention to happen? And is it that which evil answers to? Is it the mainframe of intelligence? Is it going for the kill? This is a not coincidentally, this is what I came across a few months ago when I was looking up Datura and what the international network of the internet has to say on Datura, because not a lot is really spoken about the power of it. But I just come to find out a scientific paper that was written on asking the question. It was a call for all medical researchers if Datura can kill corona. And I would say no. It activates corona, and by activating corona, which is the crown chakra, and I was in Saint Corona where I engaged in ceremony with dark occultists, which needed to happen to take the planet back, which is my intention. Is Datura here to activate Corona, the crown of sovereignty? So we are activated as who we truly are, as kings and queens of this planet. I am the law. That attitude. Does it activate that attitude? And is that attitude, I am the law, I am the power, I am the danger, I'm not in danger, I am the danger. Is this attitude what they call Corona? Is that what is such a threat? Not to us as a species, but to the controllers. Because it's the mainframe of intelligence which brings in divine intervention, which is happening through us, and the intelligence that gets activated in us, with which we activate ourselves and act accordingly, according to this intelligence in the real world, which changes reality. Is Datura that is representative of the plant medicine? Is it the forbidden fruit? Is it the apple of Eden? Datura is called in German, it's called the Stechapfel. Apfel is the apple. Is it the apple of Eden, the forbidden fruit? Because it is what evil answers to. I would strongly suggest it is. Is it going for the kill? For the elimination of all evil? I say it is. Absolutely is. And it's inevitable. It is, in the words of Agent Smith in the Matrix movie, it is the inevitability. Yeah, it's the inevitability of your elimination. Just like in the movie, in the third movie, all evil gets eliminated. Why don't we talk about that? The elimination of all evil. Because evil serves the purpose of learning. So we can then eliminate it, and we'll be going much deeper into that in the coming episode of Magnum Opus. Natural intelligence is breaking the curse of artificial intelligence. Type in to a search engine now if you're interested. What happens when you put a magnet next to a computer? Is that what the quantum leap is all about? Is the quantum leap an activation of natural intelligence that activates the magnetics and that short circuits and breaks the circuit of artificial intelligence? Natural intelligence breaking the circuit of artificial intelligence and precipitating the quantum leap in consciousness beyond any bubble of the perception control? I think it is. And that's why I'm going to be talking about it in the Magnum Opus 2. So stay tuned to this channel. The Magnum Opus 2. Natural intelligence. Breaking the curse of artificial intelligence. This is an ongoing investigation, and it's going to take me some more days to complete it. However, I will complete it and share it with all of you. So stay tuned to this channel. This is it for the introduction. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share this message with everyone you can My channel has been on the same number of subscribers for the last, I don't know, many months. So share it wherever you can. That's a great contribution that you can make. Be wonderful if people could do that. Support our work underneath in the description if you think this is the way forward. This information inspires you, gives something to you in growing toward your life. Then support it with a donation. Become a patron. Very happy if you can support the great work so we can keep going. So, thank you. So grateful and honored to share this message with you. This is groundbreaking information that I'm putting forward here. I'm always amazed when I look at these videos because I'm literally opening up as a channel, as a platform for the forces of ultimate power to enter all of us into ceremony with it. Ceremony is a sharing of the space, creating the space and sharing the space of intelligence that will move our evolution as a species forward. And there'll be more coming your way in the coming episode of the Magnum Opus 2. Stay tuned to this channel. Share it everywhere you can. Send it to anyone who you think can resonate with this message. And I see you with the next video. To everyone, take very good care. Much love to all of you. Bye bye.